Volkswagen introduced the Atlas 3-row SUV in 2018 as a replacement for the aging Touareg. For 2024, it receives updated exterior styling, but the company made more substantial changes underneath the sheet metal. With a high-class cabin, a smooth ride, and space for the whole family, it's easy to see why the Palisade has been a hit for Hyundai. The brand's largest SUV runs the gamut, from its value-oriented base trim to the swanky calligraphy model that does its best impression of a Genesis GV80. And to find out which one is better, in this video we will compare both SUVs' designs inside and out, pricing, and how they drive. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Hyundai dropped the Palisade's smaller family fascia and went big. The facelifted front end looks more squared off, with a wider, rectangular grille with lots of chrome or black trim in the XRT's case, and upright LEDs pushed further towards the car's edges. This makes it look wider than before, although it remains the same size. The side profile is muscular and athletic and features a line that runs from the front headlights all the way to the back, accentuating the vehicle's length. At the rear, not much has changed. The large Palisade lettering positioned in the center of the liftgate, just below the Hyundai logo, is still present, while the reverse and fog lights join a single lowered light bar. The original Atlas didn't exactly have the best appearance, especially up front, but now, with its facelifted version, they've made some much-needed changes. The front end has a more squared-off look, sporting a wider rectangular grille with less chrome. The headlights are positioned more towards the edges, giving it a wider appearance even though it's actually the same size as before. Moving to the side, it's all about muscle and athleticism. There is a line that starts above the front wheel arches and runs all the way to the back, emphasizing the vehicle's length. It really adds to its overall appeal. At the rear, however, not much has changed. The large Atlas lettering positioned in the center of the liftgate just below the VW logo is still present, while the revised taillights are now connected by a full-width LED bar. Overall, both the Atlas and Palisade are more aggressive-looking than their predecessors, and in terms of size, they are pretty much identical. But when it comes to style, the Palisade seems to be the slightly better one here. Jumping into Palisade, the interior design goes virtually untouched from last year, apart from a new 4-spoke steering wheel. High-quality aluminum accents surround high-end black Nappa leather on the seats and black accents on the dash and door panels. On this calligraphy model, there is some hard-touch plastics lower down, but everything within immediate reach feels properly premium. As for infotainment, a 12.3-inch touchscreen comes standard on all versions of the Palisade and is joined by a corresponding 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. The new center touchscreen replaces last year's base 8-inch screen and the optional 10.3-inch display on the calligraphy model, and yields better graphics with a more concise home screen. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard, but both require wires. As for the Atlas, the interior design sees a far more substantial change than the exterior, apart from the steering wheel, which carries over from last year. The cabin has been revamped with more premium materials. It features a leatherette trim soft-touch dashboard and center console, which VW redesigned to include a storage cubby underneath. Top-of-the-range models feature quilted leather seats with a diamond stitch pattern. There is some hard-touch plastics lower down, but everything within immediate reach feels premium. Compared to the Palisade, it's fairly similar in both ergonomics and material quality. And just like Hyundai, a 12-inch touchscreen comes standard on all versions of the Atlas and is joined by a corresponding 10.3-inch digital instrument cluster. The new center touchscreen replaces last year's base 6.5-inch screen and the optional 8-inch display on higher models, and uses better graphics with a more concise home screen. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard and can be used wirelessly. As for passenger and cargo space, the Palisade's wheelbase is similar to that of the Atlas. The front occupants have plenty of room length and height-wise, and the seats are very comfortable. The second row offers plenty of space, making it one of the best in the segment, and the captain's chairs offer great support. Legroom in the third row is fairly limited, making it less ideal for tall adults in the back. As for cargo space, behind the third row there is 18 cubic feet. With the third row folded, space grows to 45.8 cubic feet, or 86.4 with the second row folded. As for the Atlas, its wheelbase is almost an inch longer than that of the Toyota. The front seats are well cushioned and supportive, and there is ample space for taller drivers and passengers to stretch out. The second row seats are similarly spacious and comfortable, and there is ample space for taller passengers to stretch out. But the third row is admittedly tighter. It's still roomy enough for short adults to fit with wiggle room to spare, which is rarely the case in this segment. Kids, on the other hand, will have more than enough room. As for cargo space, behind the third row there is 20.6 cubic feet. With the third row folded, space grows to 55.5 cubic feet or 96.8 with the second row folded, making it bigger than the Palisade across the board. When it comes to pricing, the 2023 Palisade SE starts at $37,200 and comes standard with LED headlights and taillights, 18-inch alloy wheels, and dual-zone climate control. The SEL is $40,200, but if you want to ball out on the luxurious Calligraphy model, this version will cost you at least $50,800. As for VW, the 2023 Atlas SE starts at $39,000 and comes with standard LED headlights and taillights, IQ Drive driver assistance, and 3-zone climate control. SE with technology is $43,000, but if you want to go all out on the luxurious SEL Premium R-Line model, this version will cost you at least $53,800. When it comes to driving and handling, the Palisade features a 3.8-liter V6 engine providing 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. The engine is the least premium part of the Palisade. It gets up and goes, but it's just not as effortless as some might like. Peak power and torque arrive at 5,500 RPM, and it works hard to pull you up to speed. Once you get up to speed, however, driving the Palisade, in a word, is reassuring. A raft of active safety features, smooth driving dynamics, and a commanding view of the road inspire to say, "Relax, I got this." Though it's a large SUV, accurate steering, huge mirrors, and clear sightlines meant that parking garages were the only places where the Palisade felt its size. There is no problem parallel parking or navigating city streets, however. Handling is confident too, with a respectable body control and steering effort that builds up naturally. Hyundai's Highway Driving Assistant 2 adaptive cruise control is seriously impressive stuff. With the system fully activated, it controls steering, speed, and driving distance from the car in front of you using radar. It will even change lanes if you flick on the turn signal, and it's safe to do so. As for VW, the 2024 Atlas also received a significant change under the hood. A turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine now powers it, replacing the VR6. It makes 269 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque, and pairs with an 8-speed automatic transmission that powers the front wheels. This new engine is similar in terms of power to the 3.6-liter V6 from last year. The 0 to 60 time is around 7 seconds. It provides plenty of passing and merging power, along with more linear delivery, which makes for a smoother acceleration. It's comparable to the standard V6s found in the Kia and Honda, but you wouldn't call it fast. Driving the Atlas is reassuring. A raft of active safety features, smooth driving dynamics, and a commanding view all contributes to a relaxing ride. The steering is light in the city and weighs up well on the highway, though it is almost devoid of feedback, but it's still precise. When you switch to sport mode, you won't notice much of a difference in how the suspension feels. But to be honest, it's not really a big deal. Volkswagen has always been good at getting the suspension set up right, and the Atlas is no exception. While it may not be a corner carver, it handles the weight of the vehicle quite well. It provides a smooth ride in the city, and surprisingly, it's quite maneuverable despite its size. So, which one should you choose? Well, I think it's really simple. The Palisade just seems to offer a better overall package while being cheaper, with space for both cargo and passengers being close enough to the Atlas.